All right, so it looks like someone's asking about how to level up their communication skills.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got excerpts here from How to Talk to Anyone About Anything.
Okay.
And we are diving deep to pull out the best, most actionable tips for you.
Well,
Get ready to be a master communicator.
this book, it really stresses how important it is to be self-aware.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the foundation of being good at talking to people.
Okay.
It's about figuring out what you believe in, what your values are,
Right.
and just what makes you, unique.
So it's like before you even think about talking to other people, you have to have a really good sense of self.
Exactly.
Why is that so important?
Think of it like your inner compass.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a strong sense of self,
Yeah.
it helps you communicate authentically
Right.
and with confidence.
Yeah.
Um, and that can help you deal with tough situations
Right.
and build real connections with people.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Right.
It's like when I had to present this project, that didn't really line up with what I believed
Oh,
in,
wow.
and knowing myself really helped me speak up.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up actually saying no to the offer.
Oh, wow. Good for you.
It wasn't easy,
I bet.
but it felt right, because I stayed true to myself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It gives you like that inner strength.
Right.
The book even talks about this really useful exercise
Okay.
where you spend some time thinking about who you are right now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what are your most important values? What really makes you you?
I'm already getting introspective.
Uh-huh.
It's so easy to just get caught up in day-to-day stuff
Yeah, absolutely.
and forget to check in with yourself.
For sure.
But once we have that strong foundation, that solid sense of self,
Yeah.
where do we go from there?
Well, once you've got a grip on who you are,
Mm-hmm.
the book gets into this whole thing about listening,
Oh, okay.
but not just like
Well,
any listening.
okay.
It's about listening to really understand.
Okay. How do we become better listeners?
So the book makes a distinction between two types of listening:
Okay.
listening to understand
Mm-hmm.
versus listening to respond.
Gotcha.
And a lot of us,
Yeah.
without even realizing it, we listen just to come up with our response.
Oh, yeah.
So we miss out on actually taking in what the other person is saying.
Oh, I've totally been guilty of that. It's like my brain is so busy thinking about the perfect comeback
Yeah.
that I miss all the little details of what the other person is trying to say.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
The book uses this great example
Okay.
of a conversation about veganism,
Okay.
and this young woman's trying to tell her dad why she's chosen to be vegan.
Mm-hmm.
But her dad, he keeps interrupting,
Oh,
talking about how much he loves steak,
right.
He's totally missing her point.
That's so relatable. It's like he's just waiting for his turn to talk
Exactly.
instead of actually trying to understand what she's saying.
Right?
So how do we break that habit?
So that's where active listening comes in.
Okay.
It's about giving the other person your full attention,
Okay.
getting rid of distractions,
Right.
and really focusing on understanding their point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Like imagine nodding along, making eye contact,
Mm-hmm.
and not checking your phone,
All right.
just being present in the conversation.
So it's not just about hearing the words,
Yeah.
but it's about getting their meaning and intention, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
The book even mentions repeating key points or asking questions to make sure you understand, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It shows the speaker that you're actually listening
Right.
and that you care about what they're saying.
Yeah.
It's funny. There's this one time
Okay.
I was at this conference, right?
Mm-hmm.
And someone was explaining this really complicated topic.
Okay.
And I was totally lost,
Uh-huh.
but I just kept nodding
Mm-hmm.
and asking questions.
Okay.
And it turned out they were actually explaining it wrong.
Oh, no.
And my questions helped them figure that out.
Wow. So active listening can actually help both people in the conversation.
Totally.
Yeah.
It clears up misunderstandings.
Right.
And it can even help you learn new things.
Okay. So we've talked about self-awareness
Yeah.
and active listening.
Mm-hmm.
What's next in this communication toolkit?
Well, it's all about asking the right questions.
Okay.
Not just any questions, though.
Right.
It's about questions that guide the conversation, create connections,
Yeah.
and encourage people to open up.
Ooh, I love a good question.
Oh.
It's like a key that unlocks a deeper level of understanding and connection.
Totally.
So what kind of questions should we be asking?
So the book really emphasizes open-ended questions
Okay.
instead of questions that just lead to like a yes or no answer.
Right.
These questions encourage the other person to, like, tell you more,
Okay.
share their thoughts,
Yeah,
and reveal more about themselves.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So instead of asking, like, do you like to travel, which can be answered with a simple yes or no,
Yeah.
we could ask, what's your favorite travel destination?
Exactly.
And why?
Exactly.
Which makes them want to say more, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
The open-ended questions, they invite the other person to share more about themselves,
Yeah.
and they just make a regular conversation more interesting and engaging.
The book even has, like, a whole list of good conversation starters, right?
Oh, yeah, tons of them.
Like, what are some of them?
Well, there's like,
Okay.
what do you do for fun?
Mm-hmm.
What would your dream job be?
Ooh, I like that one.
What's the most interesting thing you've learned recently?
Ooh, nice.
So instead of the usual, like, boring small talk,
Yeah.
these questions lead to more personal and interesting answers.
I love those. I'm picturing, like, all these cool stories these questions could lead to.
Absolutely.
Like, we're going beyond the surface.
Yes.
And making, like, our real connection.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got self-awareness. We're actively listening.
Yeah.
We're asking thoughtful questions. What else is in this communication toolkit?
So now let's move on to something that a lot of people miss.
Okay.
Reading the room.
Oh, okay.
It's all about those first impressions
Yeah.
and understanding body language.
Okay. I'm always trying to, like, figure out those nonverbal cues and change how I'm talking based on that.
It's important, yeah.
What does the book say about this?
So the book says it's super important to pay attention to those little signals people give off,
Okay.
like their posture, how they're dressed, if they make eye contact, even their handshake.
Yeah.
These things can tell you a lot about how someone's feeling,
Mm-hmm.
if they're confident,
Right.
and how open they are to talking to you.
I can totally relate to that.
Yeah.
I went to this party one time,
Yeah.
and there was this guy who had his arms crossed, and he wasn't making eye contact with anyone, so I just assumed he was, like, standoffish and
Right.
didn't want to talk.
Mm-hmm.
But later, I found out he was just really shy.
Oh, it
I-
happens.
That's such a classic example of
Yeah.
like misreading body language and missing a connection.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the book tells us to really watch people,
Mm-hmm.
but also to be aware of our own body language.
Right.
Are we looking open and friendly?
Right.
Or are we accidentally sending signals that could be misunderstood?
It's like a two-way street.
Totally.
Yeah.
We're reading their signals and they're reading ours.
So how do we make a good first impression?
The book gives some practical advice about how to start conversations,
Okay.
even with strangers.
Right.
It says it's important to project confidence,
Okay.
make eye contact,
Mhm.
and approach people with a genuine smile.
Yeah.
Like, imagine you're at a networking event
Okay.
and you want to talk to someone.
Mhm.
You could say something about the speaker or the venue.
Right.
Or just introduce yourself and say, hi, I'm your name. It's great to be here.
See, that already feels way less scary. Right.
What about somewhere more casual, like a coffee shop?
Yeah.
And you see someone you want to talk to.
Mhm.
How would you break the ice there?
You could try something like, this coffee is amazing, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
Or, have you tried the pastries here? They're delicious.
Right.
It's about finding something you both have in common
Yeah,
to start the conversation.
those are great. It takes the pressure off
Yeah.
and just makes the conversation feel natural.
Absolutely.
So we're finding that common ground,
Mm.
projecting confidence,
Yeah.
being mindful of our body language.
It's all coming together.
It's like we're putting all the pieces together to become, like, expert communicators.
And the best part is it's a journey, We're
Yeah.
always learning and getting better,
Right.
and so are our communication skills.
Love it.
Yeah.
So we've covered a lot, like self-awareness,
Yeah.
active listening, asking engaging questions,
Mm-hmm.
reading the room. It's like building blocks, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
For good communication. But how do we take it up a notch?
Okay.
How do we, like, supercharge our skills?
So now that we've got the basics,
Right.
the book goes into some techniques
Okay.
for boosting your charisma
Oh,
and your confidence.
I like where this is going.
Uh-huh. Tell me more.
So the book, it really focuses on being genuine,
Okay.
being funny,
Mm-hmm.
and believing in yourself.
Okay.
Because charisma, it's not about being the loudest person in the room.
Right.
It's about connecting with people in a real way,
Yeah.
making them feel seen and heard.
So it's not about putting on an act,
Right.
but just letting your personality shine through.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's about being comfortable with who you are
Okay.
and letting your passion and excitement be, like, contagious.
Right.
It's about being truly interested in others
Mm-hmm.
and showing them that you value what they think.
I used to be terrified of public speaking.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like totally freaked out.
What?
So I joined this Toastmasters group.
And even though it was scary at first, it really helped me get more confident. The
Actually,
more I practiced, the more comfortable I became.
it's like anything, right?
Yeah, totally.
The more you do it, the easier it gets.
Exactly. And eventually, I actually started to enjoy it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a big win.
That's a perfect example of how pushing yourself outside your comfort zone
Mm-hmm.
can really help you grow.
Yeah.
It reminds me of this thing the book talks about.
Okay.
It's called Fake It Till You Make It.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
So basically the idea
Yeah.
is that even if you don't feel confident,
Okay.
if you act like you do,
Yeah.
it can actually change your brain over time.
Really?
Yeah, there's science behind it.
That's wild.
So if you like use confident body language
Okay.
and you speak with conviction
Mm-hmm.
and you push past your fears,
Yeah.
you can actually start to believe in yourself more.
So it's like training your brain to connect those actions with confidence.
Exactly.
The more you practice, the more natural it becomes.
Exactly.
I love that. It's giving me a whole new perspective on how to deal with my fears.
I love it.
But sometimes even confidence isn't enough, right?
Yeah, that's true.
How can we make our conversations more engaging,
Okay.
more memorable,
So that's where storytelling comes in.
Okay.
The book goes deep on how to tell captivating stories.
Ooh, I love a good story.
Uh-huh. Me too.
It's like you get a glimpse into someone's soul.
Totally.
So what tips does the book give?
Well, it says to look for moments of surprise
Okay.
or humor
Mm.
or something that really resonated with you emotionally.
Okay.
It's about finding the extraordinary in the ordinary
Yeah.
and framing your experiences in a way that draws the listener in.
Okay.
Instead of just listing facts,
Right.
you can make them come alive
Mm-hmm.
by using vivid descriptions,
Okay.
engaging dialogue,
Yeah.
even a little bit of humor.
So instead of saying, like, I went to a concert last night,
Yeah.
we could say, the energy at the concert last night was electric.
Yes.
The crowd was singing along to every word,
Wow.
and I felt like I was part of something truly special.
Exactly. You've painted a picture with your words,
Yeah.
and you pulled the listener right into the experience.
I like that.
The book also suggests this method
Right.
called the 1.1.1 approach.
1.1.1, what's that?
So it's about highlighting one action,
Okay.
giving a one-sentence summary,
Mm-hmm.
and emphasizing one emotion.
Okay, so give me an example.
Okay, let's say you're telling a story about a really bad first date.
Aha. Okay.
The action could be you spilled your drink all over yourself.
Oh, no.
The summary could be, let's just say it didn't go as planned.
Right.
And the emotion could be embarrassment or, finding the humor in it.
That's a great way to keep it short and sweet.
Exactly.
And it sticks with you.
Yeah, it makes an impact.
It's like turning everyday moments into these captivating stories.
Absolutely.
But the book also talks about becoming a more interesting person in general, right?
Right.
So it's not just about how we communicate.
Right.
It's about who we are as people.
Exactly, because the more interesting and well-rounded we are,
Mm-hmm.
the more we have to offer in our conversations and our relationships.
I like that.
So the book encourages us to learn new things,
Okay.
try new experiences,
Mm-hmm.
and just use our time wisely.
So it's about expanding our horizons,
Yeah.
both intellectually
Yes,
and experientially.
exactly.
The more we engage with the world,
Uh-huh.
the more we have to share with others.
I love that.
I remember when I took a pottery class,
Oh, cool.
I had no experience at all,
Uh-huh.
but I was just curious.
That's awesome.
And it ended up being so much fun.
Good.
And I met some amazing people
Oh,
who also love pottery.
that's so great.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's a perfect example of how stepping outside your comfort zone
Mhm.
can lead to unexpected connections.
Yeah.
And it just makes your life richer,
Yeah, totally.
The book also suggests reading more.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great way to learn new things
Good.
and see things from different perspectives.
Absolutely.
Plus, it gives you more to talk about
Yeah.
and helps you connect with people who share your interests.
I recently read a biography of Marie Curie,
Oh, wow.
and it started so many interesting conversations
awesome.
about her discoveries, her life,
Mm-hmm.
and the challenges she faced as a woman in science.
It's amazing how
Weird.
one book
Yeah,
can open up so many new avenues for connection.
totally. But beyond personal growth,
Yeah.
the book also talks about building meaningful relationships.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's not just about being interesting.
Right.
It's about connecting with people on a deeper level.
Exactly, because all these communication skills we've been talking about,
Yeah,
they're all meant to help us build stronger relationships.
right.
deeper relationships,
Mm-hmm.
more fulfilling relationships.
Mm-hmm. So it's about taking all these tools and using them to weave a tapestry of connections.
I love that, yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's about going beyond those surface-level interactions
Right.
and putting in the effort to build real connections.
But in today's world, it's so easy to let those slip away.
It is, yeah.
How can we be more intentional
Okay.
about nurturing our relationships?
That's such a good point.
Yeah,
It's so easy to get caught up in the craziness of life
totally.
that we forget to nurture those bonds
Right.
that are so important to us.
So the book suggests we treat our relationships with the same care
Exactly.
that we give to other important things in our lives.
Like our jobs, our health.
Yeah, exactly.
Our relationships deserve that same level of attention.
So instead of waiting for those random moments to connect, we should be actively making time for people we care about.
Exactly. Like schedule it in.
Like put it on the calendar.
Yes.
And say, this time is for my relationships.
I love that.
Yeah, make it a priority.
Absolutely.
But just being there isn't always enough, right?
Right. That's true.
How do we make sure those interactions are meaningful?
So it's about being present in those moments.
Okay.
Put your phone away,
Right.
clear your mind,
Mm-hmm.
and really focus on the person you're with.
So it's about more than just physically being there.
Yeah.
It's about being emotionally present, too.
Exactly. It's about listening with your heart,
I like that.
not just your ears.
And making the other person feel seen,
Yes.
heard, and valued.
It's like creating this special space
Yeah.
where you can really connect.
Free from distractions.
Exactly.
But what else can we do
Okay.
to make those connections deeper?
The book goes back to that idea of authenticity.
Okay.
It's about showing up as your true self,
Mm-hmm.
no pretending, no masks.
Right.
Let people see your flaws,
Yeah.
your quirks,
Yeah.
all the things that make you, you.
It's about accepting our imperfections
Yes.
and knowing that they're part of what makes us human. Absolutely.
And relatable.
And lovable.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's funny. It's often in those moments of vulnerability
Yeah.
that we make the strongest connections.
It's true.
When we let ourselves be seen, flaws and all,
Mm-hmm.
we give others permission to do the same.
It's like we're saying,
Yeah.
it's okay to not be perfect.
Yes.
It's okay to be vulnerable.
Uh-huh.
It's okay to just be yourself.
And in that space of shared vulnerability,
Yeah.
something amazing happens.
We create a real bond
Exactly.
based on trust and understanding,
It's where true intimacy comes from.
not just in a romantic sense,
Right.
but in that feeling of deep connection.
Exactly. That feeling of knowing you're not alone.
Yeah.
That someone gets you
Sees you for who you are.
and accepts you.
That's a powerful feeling.
It is.
But building these kinds of relationships
Mm-hmm.
takes work, right?
It does, yeah.
Relationships, they're constantly changing. They need attention.
And sometimes,
You have to have tough conversations.
right.
You have to work through disagreements.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to learn to compromise.
So it's not about avoiding conflict.
No.
It's about learning how to deal with it in a healthy way.
Exactly. And that's where all those communication skills come in handy.
Active listening,
Yeah.
asking good questions,
Mhm.
reading body language.
And they've all become essential tools.
For navigating those tricky parts of any relationship.
Exactly. They help us understand each other.
Even when it's hard.
Even when it's tough.
It's like we're giving ourselves the skills to
Wait.
build strong relationships
Yeah.
that can last a lifetime.
That can handle anything.
Yeah, relationships that can go through tough times
Mhm.
and come out even stronger.
And as we build these connections,
Yeah.
we're not just impacting our own lives.
Right.
We're creating a ripple effect.
What do you mean?
So think about it. When we feel connected,
Okay.
supported,
Mm-hmm.
loved,
Yeah.
we're more likely to be kind to others,
Right.
to be compassionate,
Mm-hmm.
to be generous.
So our own happiness actually makes the world a better place.
Exactly.
I love that it's like all those little acts of connection
Mm-hmm.
create this wave of positivity
Yes.
that spreads out and touches everyone.
That's beautiful.
It's a reminder that building relationships isn't just about us.
Yeah.
It's about making the world a better place.
I love that. You know, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
it really comes down to this connection. It's a choice.
Mhm.
It's something we decide to do every single day.
Right.
To reach out, to listen, to be present,
Yeah.
and to put effort into the relationships that matter most to us.
It's true. We can forget that.
Yeah.
We get so busy.
It's easy to get caught up in everything else.
And we start taking those connections for granted.
Absolutely.
And that's especially important now
Yeah.
with all the distractions we have.
In today's world, yeah.
It's so easy to let,
Uh,
quick online interactions
yeah.
replace those deep connections that we actually need.
Right. You can be surrounded by people online.
Yeah.
but still feel lonely in real life.
So true. So how do we fight that?
Okay.
How do we make sure we're prioritizing real connections?
The book has some good advice.
Okay.
It says to schedule time for friends and family,
Mhm.
just like you would schedule anything else important.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
So treat it like a work meeting
Exactly.
or a doctor's appointment.
Put it in your calendar.
Make it a non-negotiable.
Exactly. That time is for your relationships.
It's making a conscious decision
Yes.
to prioritize those connections,
Absolutely.
but just showing up, it's not always enough, right?
No, that's right.
How do we make sure that time is well spent?
So it goes back to being present.
Okay.
When you're with those people,
Right.
put your phone away, be there in the moment.
Really focus on who you're with.
Exactly. Listen with your heart.
Ah, I like that.
Yeah.
Listen with your heart, not just your ears.
And make them feel like you really care.
Like they matter.
Yes, make them feel seen, heard, valued.
It's about creating that space
Yeah.
where you can truly connect
Absolutely.
without any distraction.
That's where the magic happens.
But besides being present,
Mhm.
how can we make those connections even stronger?
You know, the book keeps coming back to this one thing.
Okay, what's that?
Authenticity.
Okay,
Just be yourself.
right,
Don't pretend to be someone you're not.
right.
Let people see your flaws, your quirks.
Embrace those imperfections.
Yes, because those are the things that make you unique.
And they make you relatable.
Exactly.
It's funny, when we let our guard down and let people see our true selves, that's when we connect on a deeper level.
It's true. When we're vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
we give other people permission to be vulnerable too.
It's like we're saying, hey, it's okay to not be perfect.
Yeah,
It's okay to have flaws.
exactly.
It's okay to just be you.
And when we both do that,
Yeah.
that's when a real connection is made.
A connection built on trust and understanding.
That's where true intimacy comes from.
Not just in the romantic sense.
Right. It's a feeling of deep connection.
Knowing that you're not alone,
Yeah.
that someone gets you
Sees you for who you really are.
and loves you anyway.
That's powerful.
It is. But building those kinds of relationships,
Yeah.
it's not always easy.
No, it takes work.
Relationships take effort.
They change over time.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to deal with conflict.
Right. Disagreements, different opinions.
Exactly. You have to learn how to compromise.
So it's not about avoiding conflict.
No.
It's about facing it head on.
But in a healthy way.
Right. And all those communication skills we've been talking about,
Yeah.
they help us do that.
They're essential.
Active listening, asking open-ended questions,
Mm-hmm.
paying attention to body language,
They help us understand each other,
even when it's tough.
even when we disagree.
It's like we're building a toolkit
Uh-huh.
for strong, lasting relationships.
That can handle anything life throws at them.
Relationships that can grow and evolve over time.
Exactly.
And as we build these relationships, we're making a difference.
We are.
Not just in our own lives,
Right.
but in the world around us.
It's a ripple effect.
So when we feel loved and supported,
Mhm.
we're more likely to be kind to others, to be
Mhm.
more understanding.
More compassionate.
Yeah.
More generous.
It's like our own happiness
Yeah.
spreads outwards and touches everyone.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is. It reminds us that building meaningful relationships isn't just about us.
It's about something bigger.
It's about making the world a better place.
I love that.
So if you're listening
Yeah.
and you're feeling disconnected or alone,
Uh-huh.
remember, you have the power to change that.
You do.
The power to connect is within you,
Choose to use it.
and you'll be amazed at how your life transforms.
It's true. It's a beautiful thing.
What a great reminder.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing all your insights with us.
Of course, my pleasure.
This has been an amazing conversation.
It has.
And to our listener, we hope this deep dive has inspired you
Yeah.
to start building those meaningful connections.
It's a journey.
Remember, it's not about being perfect.
It's about progress
It's about showing up and being yourself.
and being open to connection.
So go out there, start those conversations,
Yeah.
nurture those relationships.
And remember.
The world is a better place
Yes.
when we choose to connect.